Good morning. It's February 26th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. A groundbreaking development in the treatment of sickle cell disease has emerged from the Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center. Researchers have pioneered a novel bone marrow transplant method that has demonstrated impressive success rates in curing adults afflicted with this condition. The clinical trial included 42 participants from various cancer centers in the U.S. and London, resulting in a remarkable 95% survival rate. Additionally, 88% of the patients were considered cured 2 years after undergoing the transplant. This innovative procedure, known as reduced-intensity haploidentical bone marrow transplantation, utilizes bone marrow from a half-matched donor, often a family member. Dr. Richard Jones, a leading investigator in the study, noted that the success rates of this transplant are comparable or even superior to those of gene therapy, which tends to be more expensive and less accessible. The median cost for the transplant is approximately $467,747, significantly lower than the estimated $2 million to $3 million required for gene therapy. The trial participants had a median age of 22, with a predominant representation of Black individuals at 92%, and reported minimal serious side effects, with only 2 deaths occurring in the first year. Prior to the transplant, patients underwent low-dose chemotherapy and total body irradiation, followed by cyclophosphamide treatment to mitigate complications. This trial has also challenged several misconceptions surrounding bone marrow transplants for sickle cell disease, particularly the notion that a perfectly matched donor is essential and that the procedure entails high mortality risks. Supported by esteemed institutions such as the National Institutes of Health and the Blood and Marrow Transplant Clinical Trials Network, the findings from this trial will be published in the February 25, 2025 issue of the New England Journal of Medicine Evidence, following initial presentations at the American Society of Hematology meeting in December 2023. Sickle cell disease affects around 100,000 Americans, primarily within the Black community, causing painful complications due to misshaped red blood cells. The success of this transplant method, with its high engraftment and cure rates, offers new hope for those affected by this debilitating disease. NASA's Europa Clipper is embarking on a monumental journey, launched on October 14, 2024 from Kennedy Space Center. This spacecraft is set to cover a staggering 1.8 billion miles to explore Jupiter's icy moon Europa. A significant milestone in its mission will occur on March 1, 2025, when Europa Clipper will execute a gravity-assist flyby of Mars, coming within just 550 miles of the planet. This close encounter is scheduled for 12:57 p.m. Eastern, with the spacecraft traveling at an impressive speed of 15.2 miles per second relative to the Sun. During the flyby, scientists will utilize Europa Clipper's radar instrument and thermal imager, which are essential for achieving the mission's scientific objectives. This maneuver will not only adjust the spacecraft's trajectory, but also serve as a calibration opportunity for its thermal imager and the first full test of its radar system. Following this event, a second gravity assist from Earth is planned for December 2026, which will further increase the spacecraft's velocity. Managed by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, the Europa Clipper project involves collaboration from various NASA centers and organizations. To maintain an accurate trajectory, NASA engineers have already completed 3 trajectory correction maneuvers prior to the Mars flyby. Weighing 12,750 pounds, the spacecraft relies on these gravity assists to minimize the need for additional propellant, which would otherwise escalate mission costs and duration. This mission draws on techniques used in past successful missions like Voyager 1 and 2, which effectively utilized planetary alignments for momentum. The primary goals of the Europa Clipper mission include investigating the thickness of Europa's icy shell, its composition, and geological characteristics, ultimately enhancing our understanding of potentially habitable worlds beyond Earth. JPL engineers meticulously calculate trajectories to optimize energy efficiency, likening the intricate planning process to a game of billiards among planets. Recent research has uncovered a fascinating link between intelligence and reproductive success in male mosquitofish. The study indicates that those exhibiting superior cognitive abilities are more likely to mate, suggesting that intelligence could enhance reproductive fitness. This finding points to the significant role of sexual selection, alongside natural selection, in the evolution of intelligence, particularly among males. Intelligent males may excel in navigating social dynamics, as they are better equipped to manage interactions with females, who often disperse to avoid harassment. Historically, the evolution of intelligence in animals has been primarily attributed to survival advantages, like improved foraging and predator evasion. Cognitive skills such as problem-solving and learning have been associated with better survival outcomes, as smarter individuals tend to gather resources more efficiently and evade dangers. Dr. Ivan Vinogradov, the lead author of the study, highlights that while natural selection has often dominated discussions, the influence of sexual selection on the evolution of intelligence is equally important. This collaborative research, conducted by scientists from Australia, Germany, and South Africa, was published in the journal Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. Looking ahead, future research will explore the mating behaviors of more intelligent males in comparison to their less intelligent counterparts, potentially shedding light on the complexities of sexual selection in the animal kingdom. Recent research has identified significant lung abnormalities in children and teenagers suffering from long COVID, including reduced blood flow. This study, led by Dr. Gisa Pohler from Hanover Medical School, suggests that persistent symptoms in children following COVID-19 may have a physiological basis, even when traditional medical tests return normal results. Currently, children suspected of having long COVID typically undergo pulmonary function tests and echocardiograms. However, these standard diagnostic methods often yield normal results despite the presence of symptoms. Standard lung function diagnostic methods for adults, such as chest CT scans, are not recommended for children due to concerns about radiation exposure and the use of contrast agents. Long COVID is characterized by symptoms that persist for more than 12 weeks after an initial COVID-19 infection, impacting individuals across all age groups. Common symptoms include chronic fatigue, headaches, and difficulties with concentration. Dr. Pohler proposed that quantitative lung MR1 could potentially serve as an imaging biomarker to guide the follow-up of disease severity in long COVID cases. The research team emphasizes the need for further multicenter longitudinal studies to validate their findings and monitor the progression of lung abnormalities over time. An editorial by Grace Paraga, Ph.D., and Sarah Svenningsson, Ph.D., supports the use of pre-fuel MR1 in evaluating complex cases of long COVID in children. A recent study published in the journal Lancet Digital Health has revealed groundbreaking insights into organ aging and its link to major diseases. Researchers examined 6,235 participants, aged 45 to 69 from the British Whitehall 2 study, suggesting that a simple blood test can assess organ aging rates and predict the risk of diseases like cancer and dementia decades in advance. Conducted by researchers at University College London, the study indicates that accelerated organ aging can forecast the risk of 30 diseases over a 20-year period in initially healthy individuals. Lead author Professor Mika Kivimaki emphasized the importance of proactive health management, stating that monitoring organ health could signal future health risks. The findings show that different organs can age at distinct rates within the same individual, meaning that accelerated aging in one organ can negatively impact others. Notably, the study found that faster aging of the immune system was associated with a higher risk of dementia, challenging the expectation that brain aging would be the primary factor. This aligns with previous research that links severe infections to later dementia risk, highlighting the role of inflammation in neurodegenerative diseases. Furthermore, rapid heart aging was linked to a significantly increased risk of heart diseases, while accelerated lung aging correlated with respiratory infections, COPD, and lung cancer. Accelerated kidney aging was also tied to a higher likelihood of developing vascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and liver diseases. The study underscores that the biological aging of nearly all organs predicts a higher risk of kidney disease, suggesting interconnections between organ health. The potential of proteomic tests to measure thousands of proteins from a single blood sample could aid in early disease prevention and tailored health interventions. After 20 years, many participants had been diagnosed with at least one aging-related disease, highlighting the critical need to understand organ health. This has been your daily brief in science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.